Welcome back to my channel. My name is Comfort. Welcome to this channel where we talk about things that can build women, things that can make women become more appealing and more ideal. Today we are continuing from where we left off. Remember, we have been talking about effective decision making. The last time we were here, we looked at the processes and we looked at about 7 steps that can help you make an effective decision. But we said our next video we are going to talk about the pitfalls. So let's dive into the video. Now, if you hear something that will touch you in the pitfalls we are about to start talking about, don't feel bad. We are all work in progress and we are all trying to become better. If you're not making yourself better, then there's something really wrong with you. We want to wake up each day and try and do something different. So as we are going to be going over all the steps, there are about 4 pitfalls that you need to look out for as you make effective decisions. And let's talk about the first one, the very first step. So, what is overconfidence? Sometimes you might have experienced certain things, and your own experience and things you've seen around can overcrowd your decision making, and you start thinking, you know what, I can do this, I've done this before, or I've seen someone do this before. Without evidence, you believe that you can make an effective decision without collecting data, without finding out more, without considering all the evidence that are supposed to be considered. So one pitfall that you have to be very careful with, the very first one we've talked about, is overconfidence. What that would do to you is to make you believe that you can make a decision based on your own experience, or you can make a decision based on what you've seen around, and you overlook or you discard the evidence that could literally be right in front of you. And we know that and remember, ladies, we are not saying you're not supposed to have confidence. And like I mentioned right from the beginning, when I talked about this pitfall, I said this is something that I've struggled with as well. There are people with strong characters and they find it very difficult to, let other people help them in one way or the other. And I see this with firstborns. They feel like, oh, look, I've been here, I've done this so many times. But those are the moments when we get to find ourselves in situations where we make decisions that are not effective. So pitfall number 1, overconfidence. Let's go to pitfall number 2. And pitfall number 2 is information overload. Remember, we said in our previous video that learn to collect data when you're about to start making decisions. That is going to help you make a decision that is not biased. But sometimes you have to be extremely careful. Pitfall number 1 says information overload. You could have too much information that you become overwhelmed and you don't even know what to do. You can't even end up making a decision. You can't, because you know what? You have information overload. So while you need information, while you need data, you need to put it together. Remember that information overload is something that can actually, make you overanalyze things, and it can make you take so long to make a decision. So pitfall number 2 that you need to watch out for is information overload. Let's go to pitfall number 3. Pitfall number 3 is confirmation bias. Do you know that there are people who can't make a decision until they hear another person tell them what they want to hear? When somebody is advising you, sometimes we have a tendency of wanting to be told what we want to hear. If you're going to base your decision on information that you want to hear, you are going to not take in the information that is on the ground or the data that you've collected that contradicts the way you feel. So if you're a type of a person that wants to make a decision based on what you've been told, and if you want people to always just tell you what you want to hear, it becomes difficult, because then people will tell you what you want to hear and you make a decision based on that, and that decision can be biased. So that's a pitfall that you have to be very, very careful with. Sometimes We feel like if somebody's giving us advice or they're telling us, oh, okay, you're in a situation like this and you need to make a decision, maybe you could consider to do this. They are giving you options and you're like, no, but that's not what I expected you to say. Don't let that let you make a decision that is not effective. So that's pitfall number 3. That is confirmation bias, where you want to hear what you want to hear despite the data or the information that you have on the ground. And our last and final pitfall is anchoring. What are we saying under anchoring? We are saying that, look, remember we said sometimes information can be overload. Sometimes people like to make a decision with the very first information they have been given. Like the very first thing that comes to your mind, the very first information you have, you get to make a decision based on that. That can be very dangerous because then you're basing your judgment or your decision making on something that is not adequately analyzed. So in as much as you don't want to have information overload, you also don't want to have too little of information, and then you end up making a decision based on too little of information. So these are the 4 pitfalls that I thought we could talk about. Looking at this or being aware of these pitfalls helps you to have a balanced view as you are making your decisions. They could be small decisions, professional decisions, or personal decisions. These are some of the things that you have to look out for so that you don't end up making a decision that makes you regret your entire life. So, ladies, it's bye for now. We'll see you in the next video. Oh, I've been reminded. Please subscribe and like. Yes.